Hello and welcome to another episode of Conversations with a Martial Artist. Really interesting one for you today. I am sat with Nadine Tavares de Silva. She's a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, an instructor. She teaches all over the world, but mainly she's based out of Fight Zone in Costa Blanca. She's got a ton of interesting competitive backgrounds. She's very, very recently won the IBJJF No-Gi Worlds out in Las Vegas. She holds other titles, things like Enyo Grappling, big names like that. Really diverse background, really interesting history, loads of interesting points as well. We cover a ton. She's really well traveled. She teaches out of training camps all around the world now. Really fantastic. I was lucky enough to get to know her a little while ago, and she was nice enough to give me some time for the podcast today. Please make sure you go and support her. I put all of the links to Fight Zone and her own page. Please go and give her a follow. And don't forget to support the podcast as well while you're here. You can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. It's all free, makes a big difference at CWAMA Podcast. In the meantime, I will let you sit back and enjoy and listen to what Nadine's got to say.
Nadine.
Yeah.
So it's different everywhere, you know. So I've been used to this, but actually my language is Nadine.
Nadine. Is that what you prefer?
I'm used to Nadine, to be honest. Like whatever I hear is Nadine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Amazing. I just don't want to butcher the name.
No, that's good. I've been, like I said, I've been used to this since I was a child. I moved to Italy when I was like 10 years old, so since then I was like used to getting my name changed. I was like, okay, yeah, Nadine, okay, it's great.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
All right, I'll do my best. I'll probably copy
so
that.
most people right now they call me, my professor call me Nats. So
that is easy, yeah. That's the bit everyone can agree on. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I tell you, that might actually be an interesting way to start for us, because one thing I did want to ask you about is you, I remember talking to you in Greece. You've moved all over the place. You've lived like in a ton of different countries and all these different places. I didn't know you'd lived in Italy as a kid either.
Yeah.
So like, you've got a really diverse background, which is really cool.
Yes, I think that's the main baggage, that like the main, I could say heritage that I had, you know, this I'm a little bit from every one of these countries that I lived in. Right now it's almost 3 years in Spain, so yeah, it's pretty cool to observe some things from the place as well, learn from each one of them. Yes, I was born in Brazil, but when I go back to Brazil, I can feel, I know different from Brazilians, you know, and same thing in Italy, and I was here in UK for about 10 years as well.
Yeah.
I love London, so you know, I feel this is also my home, a little bit, and so yeah, it's cool. It's actually cool to have a little bit of myself in all of these places, you know.
Yeah, just pick stuff up. Do you pick up the languages in each one then?
Yes.
That's a lot. They're all very different.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I feel that is my strength, really. The fact that I really love languages, so I really put myself into learning them properly. So yes, 4 languages. I'm going to the 6th one as well. We're trying with the Russian, because we have a lot of students in Spain, little kids from Russia and Ukraine. You can imagine why right now, unfortunately. But yeah, they you know, they don't speak Spanish. Most of them don't speak English, so we try to make them, we try to make them comfortable and learn a little bit of Russian, a few words, you know, just to connect with them, you know. Like in the end, this is what it is, you know. Languages connect people. You can learn someone's language, you can communicate with that person, and you know, actually like transmit something, a message, you know. It's much more than like I think languages are so important to learn. So I feel blessed that it's something that has been in my life for a long
Do you find it easier then to pick up other languages once you've got that basis of like having to learn a few and like they're all a bit different?
Absolutely. You kind of like learn to create a mental structure on how to learn a language, you know? You kind of like, okay, for me the basics are going to be this, whatever, basics. What is the basics? Things that you learn every day, that you need every day.
Yeah,
simple words. And then slowly start creating sentences. And then it's going to come the learning the verbs and all of that. So there's a bit of a structure that I've mentally learned without having to write. So that's an advantage actually.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're teaching. And like you say, I think languages is so important. I'm an idiot when it comes to languages. I'd love to learn languages.
Say that. All of you guys from England and
we're bad.
No, you say that. It's just like let's face it, you don't need it because most people speak English or they have to somehow. So in a way, obviously that makes you guys a bit lazy. It's not because you're an idiot. It's just like, you know, it's just easier to speak English, you know.
Well, that's it. I feel like I love traveling, and when I travel and I'm like trying to speak to people, and everyone's just like, I speak English, don't worry. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm trying here.
Yeah. I remember being in a group, there was like a whole mixed group, I think it was actually at camp, and everyone's talking, you know, you've got someone from Sweden, someone from Holland, you know, all over the place, all these different, and they're all speaking English, just because I'm the only idiot there that didn't speak any language. I'm like, no!
You also have to think the other way around, like most people, if they are not living in an English country, like England or USA where they speak English, most people want to learn better English, so they want to make the effort as well. So it's like, it's just easier, you know. But if you are in their country, you can also insist, no, please, let me try. I also want to try, you know, because otherwise it's unfair. Everyone wants to learn and speak good English, but it's also fair for you guys to learn our language, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can put some effort in, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose back to the martial arts side of things. That moving around and like growing up, when did the martial arts sort of side of things start for you?
Martial arts have been in my life since I was a child because of my father. My father was a boxer, amateur boxer. He had a good number of fights in the state of São Paulo, where I'm from, when I was born. And he was really into martial arts since he was very young. He was quite troubled when he was young, so martial arts really took him out of what could have been way worse. And very hot-headed like that. So martial arts really, in a way, channeled that, you know. So since I was a child, really, my first approach, I would say, really was through a session of meditation with my dad when I was 8 years old. That he was teaching me to breathe. Like that's what do you mean? Like everyone knows how to breathe. Well, that's not actually true. And so when I was 8 years old, he taught me how to breathe and do this sort of meditation. And it was like talking about martial arts beyond the aspect of learning martial arts, actually being a martial artist, you know. So since I was really young, like sometimes I would be like, what's this guy talking about, you know? Obviously at the time I couldn't understand.
It's a big concept for a kid,
But they stay in your mind and they come back, because slowly, like when I was 13 and so on, like these concepts start coming back to me. So and also the actual situation that brought me to martial arts was when he taught me to punch. It was like, if anyone messes with you at school, this is how you punch. So my dad teaching me how to punch at school, so that's crazy. Anyway, so I started doing some sessions with him, but then he took me to a coach. He always had this idea that obviously your father can train you, but if you have another coach, it's also
a bit of an outside influence.
So I started doing some Muay Thai when I was like Muay Thai and boxing when I was a child. It was pretty rough. But then I moved to Italy when I was 10. And so my, time that I spent in Italy, the first 4 or 5 years, I didn't do any martial arts. I did all the sports, like skating and volleyball. And then I went back to martial arts around 15, 17, Muay Thai again. And when I actually moved to UK, I just turned 18, I moved to UK and I started Jiu Jitsu.
Oh, right.
I started Jiu Jitsu. It was pretty crazy because I wanted to go back to Muay Thai, but when I was in this gym, huge gym, they were doing this like crazy thing with their pajamas and all that. What's going on? What's happening? But I was curious, you know, so like just watching the session, waiting for the Muay Thai session, and then I put the gi once, you know, I borrowed one gi and that was it. I think that for the next 5 years I haven't done a Muay Thai session, you know.
Straight in.
That's it, straight in. And
and was that here, sorry? Was that under Marco? Yeah.
No, it wasn't here at Fight Zone. It was in another gym in north of London. But yeah, like it's crazy because I don't talk too much about this first gym. What I spent pretty much my first 4.5 years, almost 5 years. And I think it's just because it was a good experience, but at the same time it was also an experience that I don't like remembering, you know. So yeah, like I like to talk about the beginning of my jiu-jitsu, and I always say that it was the first years that I spent in this small gym, which is actually not true because it was actually a big gym, and then it started becoming smaller and smaller.
Right, sure, yeah.
You know, so actually when I met Marco, who was like Marco and Christina, all the crew from the Fight Zone, really. That's when I feel that actually my jiu-jitsu started blossoming.
Right,
you know?
sure, yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy because every time I dodge this part, I'm like, but I had a moment there of like, I'm just gonna say this because it's the truth. It is very upsetting that there are some gyms that end up becoming sort of like a cult.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
And to be honest, I don't like feeling like a victim of any sort, so that's why I just let it out. But it's true, people can really get hooked in like real cults, and that's one of the things that I'm fighting against all the time. Every time when I talk to my students from, like they don't have to do themselves, they don't have to idolize anyone, they don't have to, because there's too much of that in our sport as well.
I think martial arts in general is terrible for that. Yeah. There's such a weird, it's the weird dark side of martial arts. It's so easy, and you see people get sort of like internalized and stuff. And
like gyms that, don't get it wrong. The uniform, okay, you don't have a uniform. It's kind of like a bit dark that the students have to wear your uniform only, and they have. I don't know, for me it's not too much, but then again, it comes from back then, still very traditional for certain parts, but I think somehow it's also changing, because we are more aware of this and we are speaking more about this, I guess, as well, just warning people, I warn people all the time, don't get sucked into anything, you have to do this. No, if anyone tells you that, red flag, red flag, you know, and that's it. So you just gotta be aware of the red flags, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, going back to this whole trip, oh my god, it's crazy. Yeah, just thinking about the line of thought that I just had.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, but I mean, when you sort of get past it, everything that has built up in that, whether it's good or bad or whatever, has formed obviously a part of your journey, right? So, because I've had this conversation a couple of times on the podcast, because it is a problem, and I think that positive or negative, at least where you are, there's got to be something that given you as part of that process. It's just a weird thing to look at and think about sometimes.
Yeah, I guess like, yeah, we go through this, everything we go through somehow, it's like good or bad, it gives you some sort of lesson. So, you know, just be grateful and carry on.
Yeah, exactly. You've turned it around well.
Exactly. At least I can pass the message. I can, you know, like just, I'm not naive to many things. You know?
I think that is it. There is an element of naivety because you almost, especially with that, there's such a power dynamic. If you're brand new to the world of martial arts, and you're like, right, I'm going to my local gym, and this guy, he's wearing a black belt, he's telling me what to do, like he knows everything that there is to know. I don't know anything. Like you do whatever is said, and you just go with the culture, and you assume that's what's like it's about, right? Yeah. But there is more to it, I think, as you.
There's more to it. Obviously, there has to be the respect. For sure, if that guy has a black belt, he went through a lot of stuff. Unless he is fraud. There are so many frauds, you know, loads. But let's not get into that. But yeah, like you assume that, you know, that person had to work for it. So you respect that, you know. But you always have to be checking yourself all the time. Okay, there's a boundary, you know, there are boundaries. And yeah, I guess like you get sucked into it, and thank God friends, you know. I always thank my bestie, everybody, because she was the one that kind of like made me wake up, you know, like wait a second, like hold the guy still. Like, that's weird. Like, shit, it's weird as fuck. You know? And I was like, yeah, man, like, you give your power away by, you know, doing what the person wants you to do. So, yeah. It was a journey.
Well, there you go. Through it though.
Through it, exactly.
And then, so you obviously left there and then came here to Fight Zone?
Exactly. Yeah, so I came to Fight Zone through, actually I always remember her, she's not a Fight Zone anymore, she's got her own gym right now, but Samantha Cook, she was the time training here, and she was doing like women's only seminar, you know, like sort of like an open up get together, and she was teaching some techniques as well. And for me it was the first time that I saw so many girls together and training jiu-jitsu. I think training 50 or 60 girls. Like I saw for a girl that, you know, is a sport, sometimes you barely see any girls in the sector. So it's like, wow, that's amazing. So I fell in love with that, and obviously I made friends as well with people here, and getting to know Marco. Marco is a very special person, you know, very special coach. He loves his sport and he always transmits that, so you feel that, you know, you actually feel like, okay, like, this is the person I want to learn from, the person that has a lot of patience and is there, you know, so it was really cool. And so yeah, I moved here with one of the best things I've done up to now, for sure. And from there, like, since I was very early on in my mom's training jiu-jitsu, I knew already that I wanted to get involved with teaching.
Okay.
It's something that I've known for a long time. I mean, I like the idea of learning something, so that I could eventually pass it on, you know. And so Marco was the first person that actually gave me that opportunity. I just, you know, when I got here, I was like, you know, what newbie, I've got just like a few years of experience, you know, but I'm interested in eventually getting involved with anything, so, you know, any assistance you might need, I'm here. And I wasn't even expecting money, you know, I wanted to actually learn. And they were really good because, you know, I was blue belt, you know, and they were like, yeah, okay, we have a couple of classes and stuff. And oh, by the way, we're gonna pay you. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, okay, I know. But yeah, it was from there, so I wasn't expecting anything, you know, early on, and I just wanted to learn really. But then it became more and more part of my life, you know, and actually since like I was with them, I was with them for a few months and I promoted me to a purple belt, you know, like he helped me to connect things, and then yeah, he saw me ready, so he promoted me to my purple belt. And yeah, from then, like I've always been really into competition, like it was from the purple belt that things actually started, you know, taking off. Yeah.
I guess anything below purple belt, the competition is good stuff, but there's only so much. I think if you're a really good blue belt and you're competing quite a lot, you get to that purple relatively quickly, and that's when it gets to really high level, I think. Yeah,
it depends on the age you start, because
very true.
Believe me, we've got some kids here that they are blue belts, but they're not real blue belts. You know, they've been training for about 10 years and they're mini black belts, you know.
That's it. It's so funny when you get the kids that come up to the adult club, they just turned 16. They've already been training for like 8 years or something.
Exactly.
They just smoke everywhere.
Yeah, they're super experienced. And this is the cool thing in Jiu-Jitsu as well, you know, the diversity you have, you know. Obviously, like, there are levels, there are belts. You don't necessarily have to measure yourself because of your belt, you know, because honestly, like, we've got some really tough blue, purple belts that, you know, give a hard time to any black belt. So, you know, respect to that. And, but yeah, it depends on how much you train, how long you've been training, but yeah, I guess it's just a matter of exposing yourself as much as possible, you know, because that's what gives you the experience, whatever age you are. I've seen people under 30s getting their black belt in 5-6 years because they really put their head down and, you know, just absorb it really well. So yeah, so anything can happen, you know, in Jiu-Jitsu. We've got a couple of students that are you know, in their 70s, and it's like, it's really cool.
I love that, yeah.
So yeah, diversity in the sport, I love it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the fun things about Jiu-Jitsu, especially compared to other martial arts, is there is so much more like freedom with it, and it's much more like, I guess, individual, because you can't, like you say, you can be 70 years old and you're probably not going to be, if you're a 70-year-old blue belt, let's say, you're probably not going to be able to absolutely run rings around a 20-year-old blue belt, but you're still a damn good blue belt.
Exactly.
And so you started competing properly at sort of like purple belt level, and you're still competing really regularly, aren't you?
Yeah, so the past year I kind of like had a bit of a break. I was focusing more on the coaching. Actually, since white belt I've been competing, but kind of like going more for like Europeans and so on from their purple belt. And this year I only competed a couple of times. I'm going now to Vegas.
I was going to say, you've got one coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Worlds. My first time in the United States, actually.
Oh, really?
So yeah, actually it's my world. I was about to say my first world, but actually I just fought last month in Abu Dhabi as well, the World Pro. And so yeah, going to Vegas now. And yeah, competition. I think it's a big part for me in Jiu-Jitsu. It's not all, but I feel that somehow is one of the things that stimulates me the most, you know. I think it was important for me to take this break this year. I needed it. I got injured last year and we went through a few changes, and so I needed some time away from competition. But coming back to it,
you're ready for
I really missed it. I love the adrenaline. I love that feeling that some people feel like is anxiety, but you're actually like, your body's getting ready for something, you know. Even if it's like, sometimes it's like, yeah, it's not the best feeling, but you ride it, you know, and that's the magic thing about it. That you end up getting on the other side, you know, you don't die really. So,
yeah.
So it's really cool to go through these emotions. At least for me, I enjoy it. There's people that hate competition, you know.
Yeah, probably for the same reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, for the same reasons. Yeah, I feel that it's a way for me to control the anxiety, you know. I feel that, yeah, it really helps me, like an antidote. I'm anxious, okay, I have to control my mind now. And I have to write this, and it's gonna be okay. And it always is, you know, whatever happens. Sometimes you lose, sometimes it goes really, really well. Sometimes you barely make it because you won both. It's tough. Sometimes you get sucked as well, you know. But yeah, I mean, you're tough and carry on. What do you do? You know? Yeah, but as long as you enjoy it, you have to enjoy it. You know, like, I like trying to get the kids. I train a lot of kids in Spain, and I like to try and get them to competition, you know. But there are some that just don't enjoy it, and they don't want to try, and that's it. And it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
That's why you have to enjoy it. You cannot force anyone on. There are some people that are really, they're incredible. You feel like, whoa, this person's compete. And they don't feel comfortable. And it's like, oh. So they are gym sharks, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. You know, it's not for everyone. Competition.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu is for everyone, but competing is not.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different animal, I guess, itself,
Yeah.
the actual competing side of
Yes,
things.
absolutely.
And especially, like you say, you can be phenomenal in the gym and not ever have to worry about competing. Especially most people, obviously you're a bit of an exception, but for most people it's not like they're living, it's not their livelihood.
Yeah.
Most people doing jiu-jitsu are just, you know, they've got a 9-to-5 job, they go to an office, and in the evenings they train, and they can be awesome and you know, just smash people, but they don't need to go out and like put their bodies on the line.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, there's a bit for everyone within the sport, really. And competition is just an extra, you know. I always feel that I always say that you don't need to be a competitor, like for your life, but if you're training, just give it a try once.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to try, just to actually go through that and just see that you get to the other side. And sometimes you have a reward, and sometimes you have a reward because sometimes you win, you know. And so yeah, I think everyone should try. But like I said, it's not necessary for everyone.
Yeah, I 100%. I've said that a couple of times. I really think everyone should experience it, like experience that adrenaline.
Have you ever?
Yeah, a couple of times. I have because I'm a bit nerdy from martial arts. I jump between stuff, but I've got a boxing match in a couple of weeks.
Oh, right.
I had an MMA fight last month, so I just
cool.
haven't got. I haven't done as much jiu-jitsu as I should, really. I think maybe next year I hope hunker down a bit and do the.
Here there are different opens that you can do.
There's loads,
You can get to, I don't know, what's it, the grappling industry.
Yeah, grappling industries. There's always loads of them. Yeah, I've done two of them. I think I've done.
and loads of matches there. Cool.
But yeah, I love it. I'm a big proponent for compete, but I don't have the same passion. That's why I'm curious to hear when you talk about it, because I wonder what motivates people to do it. Because I do it because I want the experience long term, and I think it's beneficial. But I wouldn't say I necessarily have that passion for the competing. I'm not bothered about it. Like, I don't want to be a professional athlete. I can't be arsed with it. But then there's people like you that are, on it, you love it, you're like, yeah, this is what I want.
It's a way to also test technically where you are at and under pressure.
Yeah.
Because one thing is to practice and try and actually do them really well in the gym, But it's a different feeling when you are competing, when you're fighting someone else that has your same level, has your same weight, and so it's interesting. It's interesting the technical part, and I feel that's also a big part. But I like also winning, man. It's cool.
That is a good feeling.
Yeah. So
that helps.
It's very cool. Like, it's an accomplishment that it's not just for yourself, because you have your team. I have my partner that trains with me a lot, so it's good to give everyone this pride, really,
Yeah, it is. It's funny because they say it's an individual sport team effort, or maybe it's the wrong effort. But having the team around you is a wicked feeling. Like when you've got your coaches and your training partners and stuff, they're like, right, they're going out, they're competing this weekend. You get behind them.
Exactly, and even if they cannot be with you physically, they're gonna be looking for your match or just giving their support, as best as they can, and I think that's also really nice, a nice feeling of community, sharing something, with the students. Like, for example, I think with the last competition, I was trying to, I was working through things that we've actually worked in class, just so that they, they can see applied, so that's also cool, because for me as a coach, I think it's a way to give an example as well.
Yeah.
To push them towards that, because there is a market in Jiu-Jitsu. It's not as big as boxing, for example, but it's growing, and the scene is becoming bigger and bigger. So, if you actually want to invest your life in a sport like Jiu-Jitsu, you can. You can. There are different places, different, if you're in the right place at the right time, so then you can really try. So, I believe that is a way to inspire other people to start competing as well.
Yeah, big time. Because I wanted to ask you about that, because obviously you said very early on you knew you wanted to coach, and then you also knew pretty early on that you wanted to compete as well, which is interesting.
Correct.
I wonder how the two cross over.
Yes, I mean, there's some people that say that, oh, you cannot compete and coach, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. It's not easy, because I feel that sometimes there are periods of time that you have to focus 100% more on one and the other, but I think that you can combine the two things. You can work with the students as well to prepare. It's important that it's going to be hard for me to prepare for competition when I move to Spain, It's going to be hard for me to compete because I'm not going to have my training partners that are my same level, blah blah blah. But actually, you can teach and end up applying and working with your own students, and especially those that are really into it. And the students that really get into it, anywhere in the world, it hooks people really. So those are the ones that you can feed, you can help grow, and they will be helping you as well, So I feel didn't stop my preparation, teaching more, you know. Also because I guess that now at black belt, which by the way I always say, you know, like, oh, you get to black belt and now that's it, you know, and bullshit, bullshit, you know. You just like another small fish in a shark tank, because when you fight other black belts, you're gonna get smashed at first, and then you start, you know, coming, like breathing, coming out of the water again, and okay, now I understand. I can, you know, can carry on. But yeah, like when you get to black belt, you don't know everything, but you have a pretty solid base, and you know, you've got quite a few tools, you know. And so obviously I keep training. I do train less than when I was, for example, blue belt or purple belt, and I try to focus as well on the strength part, you know, which before I used to ignore. Running, doing, you know, it was just jiu-jitsu, like I was absolutely, you know, tunnel vision on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But nowadays I work on the strength as well. I pay much more attention to recovery and, like, you know, just supplements as well would be, you know, because the metabolism that I have super fast, you know, burning all the time, so I need to feed myself and have the right supplements to function properly.
Yeah, sure.
So just paying attention to other things as well, now at that level. But yeah, I mean, it didn't stop me. Like, teaching didn't stop me from competing, you know. And there's people that don't agree with that, fine, but it works for me, you know.
Yeah. That makes sense. And do you have that same like passion for the teaching? Right, you enjoy that in the same way? I know obviously there's less adrenaline involved.
Yeah. But you know, like a couple of times I said that if I had to choose just one of the two things, it would be coaching. You know, if we would say, okay, choose one thing, you know, like obviously thinking that you're gonna be injury free, you know. Yeah,
that's gonna help.
Yeah. But still, like, if I would choose coaching, because I think it's the best way to pass on passion, you know.
Yeah.
I like teaching with passion. I like seeing people getting it, you know. Oh, I get it. Because I remember that feeling, and it's so good, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I get it, you know. And I'm just helping people grow and helping the sport grow. I feel that is the main mission, really. But yeah, still, as much as I can, I'll try to compete, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while you can, why not?
Exactly.
But it's so cool because I mean, I wanted to touch on. Obviously, we met at Utopia, one of the jiu-jitsu camps for people that don't know, out in Greece a couple of years ago. But camps like that, I know you do quite a few of them. You've got another one coming up next year. Did I see?
Yes. So there's a camp that we're going to do next week actually in Morocco. Exactly. We moved it for the next year because we wanted to go to the Worlds and do a few trips that we've been planning for a while. And so we moved it for the next year. It's going to be in Morocco. We're going to do it in November. It's a beautiful place. And Tarut.
Sure.
Yes. No. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. We were looking forward to do it this month, but we were like, let's give it more time because we only gave it like 2 or 3 months, and I think that by next year it's going to be better. We have more time to prepare and do a few other things that we have to, you know. But yeah, camps for me are an awesome way to connect with people, you know. A couple of months ago I was in Sardinia and for the summer week. Awesome camp. But yeah, last year we were in Ethiopia. That's where we met. Yeah, Ethiopia was a great. That was the 3rd edition, right? I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think so.
And Armenistis, I loved it.
Yeah, it's great fun. I mean, that's what I was going to say. As a teacher, getting opportunities like that must be fantastic. Because I mean, I can't think of anything I would rather do than go out and work at these camps, be able to just do jiu-jitsu all day, chilling on the beach, the parties and stuff. If you want to get involved, what a great gig.
Exactly, a beautiful spot, and obviously getting to know some awesome names as well. You know, like last year it was really cool to actually meet Paddy and make friends with him. His wife Jill, then with the daughter, you know, it was really nice. And with Rosa, we were there with Rosa Walsh as well. Gabby was there, Gabby Fletcher, and Dara, you know. Yeah, just spending quality time with people that share the same passion, you know, like feeling like nerds talking about jiu-jitsu the whole time. But you know, at the end you don't feel like a nerd because, you know, people, you know, surrounding you, they talk about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it feels normal.
Exactly. But yeah, just really nice feeling. Spending those few days, and after that, obviously, you get people that end up coming to visit you because they met you there, or they invite you to do something with them. You know, really, really nice. And this year I also done my first women's order camp.
Oh yes, I saw that actually.
That's how we roll. Really lovely ladies, really lovely girls that I spent some time with. I met Nicolini as well, spent some days, like her seminars were just awesome. Very nice person, humble person to spend time with. And Josie and the girls was really lovely, you know. So it strengthens the community, isn't it?
Big time. I think you meet so many people from that you wouldn't meet otherwise. And you know, like you go down to a tournament, like you're like, oh hey, I know you now. How you been?
And it's an awesome way to connect. And we are also planning our camp. First camp we're gonna do is for kids, you know, down at Fight Zone Costa Blanca. We're planning this kids camp for the next year. I think it's a nice way to get the parents to do something as well. You know, engage with the kids. I think for me it's a very important part of jiu-jitsu, working with kids.
So do you like teaching kids? Because that will split a room.
I know.
Some people love it, some people hate it.
It's not easy, man. It's not easy.
It doesn't seem it.
It's not easy at all. And that's why there's a whole psychology aspect of the sport, you know. And that's actually, I'm doing a course right now. I'm doing a master's on sports psychology.
Cool.
And the coaching, the whole coaching process, and just learning more, because you can know a martial art, you can know techniques, but then teaching is a different thing. There's people that have the touch just naturally, but you know, you also have to learn some things, I feel, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely like its own art to it as well.
Yeah, you have to learn tools to kind of deal with different situations. You know, it's not easy. You have to deal with different minds in the same space, and you know. So yeah, I like the psychology of the tool. You know, thank God the color classes with the kids are only 45 minutes. But still, I really, really enjoy it, you know. Smoke pills.
Yeah, bit by bit.
And you can really see some kids that they get, they get the passion that you have transmitted to them. And then if they have supportive parents, that's cool. So they carry on loving it more and more. And for me that's beautiful, to be able to do that, to be able to get little soldiers that end up becoming more resilient, because that's what gives you, when you're a child, gives you more resilience. It's not like, oh, you fall down, you start crying. No, fall down, okay, and I remind myself, exactly. But just learning to be more resilient and just being respectful as well. We teach us kids a lot of respect and just hygiene as well. I remind them all the time, and it gets to a certain age that it's something like, oh, whatever, but obviously I'm pretty sure the parents do their part to remind them and to help them, but if you have someone from the outside that wait, cut those nails, that's not cool. Not good for your training partners. Obviously you feel a bit shame, but then you will pay more attention, So just helping them to become better adults. At some point.
Well, I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up. To be honest, I know we've got class that's about to run in here in a minute.
Oh shit, it's true.
I know. So I think the best thing, where is the best place for people to follow you?
So I have my Instagram.
Yep, I'll put it all in the links in the description as well.
Yeah, I have a page on LinkedIn as well, because like we spoke about, with the different languages, I do some translating and I teach languages as well. And I'm dedicating more and more time to this. And so on my LinkedIn page, the Instagram page is usually what I do.
And come down to Fight Zone Costa Blanca.
Yeah.
I'll be coming as soon as I have money in my bank account.
I'll be waiting for you.
Alright, awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed that. As I said earlier, Nadini's got a wealth of experience, really good fun, and loads of different experience. Definitely, if you get the opportunity, go and train with her. Take a visit out to Fight Zone Costa Blanca. Fantastic. I cannot wait to get out there myself, but I've heard great things from a lot of people, so be sure to check that out. All of the links for Nadine and her work are in the description on whatever platform you're listening on, so please do make sure you go and support her. It's a really nice way just to show a bit of support and appreciation for coming on the podcast. And as I said before, please make sure to support the podcast at CWAMA Podcast on all social media platforms. Share this with another martial artist, and I hope to see you on the next one.